Hey there, McBadass here, and today I'm going to be doing my Tempest Cup tournament review, which is kind of really late because this was literally, what, March, I think, when this tournament happened. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty backlogged on footage of tournaments and whatnot, so I'm not going for anything too fancy, just wanted to get the footage out there and, make commentary, I guess. I was wanting to do like a music thing, but that didn't really work out, so this is what we're going with. Um, but yeah, my tournament team didn't really change much. This was the second Tempest Cup that I went to. Really, the only change was I swapped out my Jinx for Frostlass, which I feel like was definitely a very good idea, as you will see in one of my matches coming up here in a minute. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting looking back. Just how much I didn't know about like good IVs for PvP and whatnot. Oh, and I also neglected to capture my first round against Sangria in this tournament, which is unfortunate. But anyway, going into round two here against Rizzy BT. Got Altaria going in there doing work with Dragon Breath, as you do. I was pretty pleased with Altaria in this tournament. It was nice to get good use out of my perfect Altaria, even though, as I previously stated, perfect IVs aren't maybe as desirable in PvP as they might be elsewhere in this game, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. At any rate, seems like Rizzy didn't bring an ice type to deal with Altaria this time around, so I was kind of just going to town with that Dragon Breath. And then coming in with Frostlass, I feel like a lot of people were not expecting Frostlass in this tournament, so she kind of caught people off guard. And here in this first round against Rizzy, unfortunately, we started having some lag, and the match straight up stopped after that point. Rizzy actually conceded, though. He just said that, he didn't have anything that could deal with Frostlass in his remaining Pokemon, so he just conceded and gave me round one, which was nice. So going into round two here, started off with Frostlass against Skarmory, which isn't a great... I don't know. It's kind of a neutral matchup. Obviously, he needed to shield here, or he would have taken her out. And then here I got greedy. I thought that I might be able to take out Skarmory with Powder Snow, even though Powder Snow deals almost no damage at all. And so I was thinking I might be able to get an extra charge move off on the next Pokemon, and I suffered for it, clearly. So then we got Altaria going up against his Powder Snow Abomasnow, which is kind of a weird pick. The reason I brought Abomasnow was so that I could have access to Razor Leaf because I didn't have a Tropius. So using Abomasnow with Powder Snow just seemed like a weird concept to me. But yeah, I don't know. It's mostly just because Powder Snow is one of those moves that has a very high energy production, and Abomasnow doesn't have very good charge moves. So, at any rate, I kind of clearly suffered for having brought my Abomasnow in these subsequent rounds, and I probably should have made note of that in round two and made alterations. But I think I ran pretty much the same lineup this time around. Yeah, I got the Altaria fight, and he has a shield, so obviously he's going to block the Dragon Pulse and take me out. Ugh. And then, yeah, just Abomasnow was really good in specific situations where there's something weak to Razor Leaf, but otherwise, just super vulnerable typing wise. Loses really hard to Charizard, and there's a whole bunch of other things that are really effective against it. So yeah, Abomasnow was pretty much on my team to deal with the Mud Boys, and that was about it. Trying to throw it in against anything else was not a good battle strategy. And here, I went for the double Dragon Claw. In hindsight, I now know that just going for Blast Burn, even if it's not very effective, is still going to deal way more damage than Dragon Claw. But such is life. You live and learn. Moving on to the third round here, up against what is it, Chris 4202. And this guy, midway through, as soon as we started battling, he, started talking about how, he doesn't really do PvP all that much, and he just showed up here to, see what he could do and have fun. And like him saying that in the middle of having his Quagsire up against my Frostlass, like my first thought was like, oh, I should block this. It's probably a Stone Edge. But he also just said he doesn't know what he's doing, so I'm gonna let this go through and see what it was. And it ended up being not Stone Edge, so totally worked out. Here we got that Charge Beam Lantern, which is a bit of a trade-off against Charizard specifically. I feel like Water Gun definitely is way better at dealing with Charizard. You don't get quite as much energy out of it, but the damage off your quick move is really nice. But Charge Move has the advantage over Skarmory because it actually deals, super effective damage with quick moves, as well as what is it? Having the better energy production, which is always nice. Here we go. That Charizard versus Lantern again, just raining down the thunderbolts. I feel like Lantern's still pretty slow, even with Charge Beam, but it's such a tank. Like, it can just take hits for days, so, like, totally doesn't matter. Lantern's still a really, really good pick, even now, like, months later, as I'm preparing for the Jungle Cup. Contemplating using Lantern. The main drawback being is the fact that, grass types are pretty prevalent in the jungle meta, and Water Gun doesn't have that many things it's good against. So, I don't know. It remains to be seen what I end up using. Here we got Altaria versus Skarmory, which is kind of a neutral mashup. Like, obviously, Dragon-type moves aren't dealing very effective damage against Steel-type, high defensive Skarmory, but it ended up working out. So here we go, on to round 4 with Jeremy here, and this is the matchup I was talking about with Frostlass, where I encountered Decilio in the first Tempest Cup I went to and had a really hard time dealing with it. And so I was like, oh man, Frostlass can totally wreck this matchup, and I was really happy that I got to show off and all that jazz. He was quite surprised and put off by how hard Frostlass shuts this matchup down. But it's got that double resistance to normal type damage, so like, what you gonna do? Can't deal with those ghosties. But yeah, then we got Charizard in here to deal with Skarmory, which is obviously a winning matchup. Assuming you can get shielding right, but I believe it has shield advantage. Or, yeah, I have the shield advantage, so able to take out the Skarmory and have a Blast Burn left over. Unfortunately, I should have just fired off a Blast Burn right away, but fortunately we have Abomasnow here to wreck the Mudboy, so thanks, Abomasnow. Let's see, we got Frostlass up against Tropius, which is another really positive matchup for Frostlass. She's not very tanky, but the Powder Snow Avalanche combo is going to be a real problem for Tropius. So with a shield, should still be able to get another Avalanche off here and burn another shield or take out the Tropius. Either of which is positive. So then we got Charizard versus Skarmory again. And I guess I was just really hesitant to burn my last shield midway through the match, and that really ended up costing me in this round. Because, then he has the shield to block my Blast Burn, and I'm kind of SOL. Because Skarmory demolishes Abomasnow. Like, even if I had managed to get to a Blizzard, which I clearly did not, still, like, it's not great. So going into round 3, I kind of took some notes from that experience with the Charizard versus Skarmory. And then here we have Altaria going up against that the Tropius, which is still a pretty positive matchup because it does resist the Grass-type damage, being Flying and Dragon-type. And then we swap into the Skarmory versus Charizard battle again. And this time it was like, all right, I know that this fight is worth my shields, so we're gonna melt this metal boy. But yeah, I ended up taking out the Skarmory, have a Blast Burn left over that we didn't get to use because he was quicker on the draw, which is unfortunate, but fortunately, have Altaria still there to pick up the slack. And he's out of shields, and we have energy advantage. So Dragon Pulse for the win, taking round 3. And moving on to the final round of the tournament against OMFG, it's Kesha. Leading off with the Frostlass there, which is still... I'm calling it a positive matchup, even though, again, Frostlass not being that tanky does take a significant amount of damage from Dragon Breath, which just has ridiculously good damage output. But still, managing to get the avalanches off there definitely makes that a positive matchup. It would have been nice to have enough health left over to get one more avalanche off against Tropius, but, you know, it is what it is. Throwing in Altaria to save Skarmory from the Lantern fight here. Going for the Dragon Pulse to avoid not very effective damage from Sky Attack. And then we got just Tropius left, which loses hard to Charizard. So yeah, with one shield, not super worried about how this first round is going. So, and he even gets one more Leaf Blade off, but it's totally not enough damage. Oh man, even with my Charizard having like not very good IVs for this kind of thing. Oh man, and the Abomasnow lead is such a huge risk. It's like you either catch a Mudboy or you're in a bad spot. And I did not catch a Mudboy, so then get stuck with Charizard against Lantern. Fortunately, this Lantern doesn't have Water Gun, so it doesn't outright demolish my Charizard, and with a shield I'm actually able to turn this around into a positive trade, which is pretty great. I do end up losing the fight, but I burned another shield, and I know that Altaria can come in and clean up the Lantern. So here we go. Got Altaria versus Skarmory, which isn't a great match for Altaria, but I do have energy and health advantage. So going into this fight, I'm feeling all right about it. Get that Sky Attack, burn the last shield, and Dragon Breath, almost taking the Skarmory out. It was very close. But then Abomasnow can come in and sweep that Mudboy. Because that Quag just, oof, getting wiped out by Razor Leaf damage. But yeah, anyhow, so that's the second tournament I ever went to. Ended up taking, like, I think 4th place. It was a grand old time. I always love making it out to the tournaments. It's always a good time, and I'll probably put a link in the description to pokeAK's video coverage of my first ever tournament, which obviously you wouldn't be able to see all of my performances, but you can at least see me in the final round of that. It was kind of my debut performance of showing up and beating everybody. It was a fun time, which is funny because since then I've yet to defeat pokeAK in a tournament since my first experience against him. But, you know, one of these days, I'll get him. Alright. Well, anyway, thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this tournament run, and, yeah, I'm hoping to be pumping out more of these in the next few days and weeks, just to kind of get caught up to present day so that I don't have to worry about grinding through this huge pile of old footage and just kind of go. So yeah, anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Sangria, for being my awesome Patreon supporter, and thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time.